Here we go. It has been hit. It's time for the live.
Hi, Stuart.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
There we go.
What's up?
Well, this is our first of our 3 top 10 celebration lives before our Trekyards retrospective live, because we always have the show finishes, we have our tail, because each show we do a week of coverage. So even though it's over, our job is still for like a week, ending with the drunk retrospective, unless there's more videos we haven't released yet. Then that'll keep going like they sometimes do if there's loads of stuff. Yeah, 3 top 10s this week, guys. Today we are looking at top 10 references, to which there are many. Tomorrow is top 10 worst parts of the season, because we want to look at the best and the worst. And then to round off those top 10s on Wednesday is top 10 best parts of the season for us personally. And they can be as small as we like, as large as we like. It's entirely perspective. And in which case the best references might also be in that top 10. That's sort of the nature of this show. They kind of throw us some good quality stuff. So, yeah.
Super chat.
Oh.
Super chat from Olivia, $2.
Oh.
Sam is back. Sammy.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, indeed.
In the chat. Slim Jim Slim says, haha, no one cares about Discovery. Except for Sebastian. I know why. I didn't put Strange New Worlds in there for a reason. I wanted a 0 poll number. You screwed it up, Sebastian. But that's okay. Go vote in the poll, guys.
Yeah. We want to know what you guys think. Hopefully you guys have suggestions. This is definitely going to be an interactive one. Super chat your thoughts, comments, questions, and whatnot. And hopefully you guys will enjoy this. Yeah, first of our live top 10s. We like top 10s here. And this was a rather
They're always fun.
big one. So I'm going to start sharing, and I'll see you in a minute.
Yes. And I will get to everybody's super chats as soon as Samuel comes back. But in the meantime, guys, hit that like button. We have 40 of you here, 20 likes. We can do better than that, guys. Let's get to 40 likes. You know you want to do it. Hit that like button if you haven't already. By all means, consider supporting the channel by sending in a super chat. Ozzy's done it. Olivia's done it. Ozzy is one of the Federation Council members. Olivia is also an admiral on the fleet. They both joined the channel. Matthew Lebner, he is also a channel member. So consider joining as well. There's lots of really cool perks and privileges for that, getting our Discord and getting your watching me die on camera, getting your name in the fleet video that is at the end of all of our videos. And it's changing, it's evolving, it's whatevering. It's always something new with that. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you guys join the channel perhaps, or helping us in any other small way. Also, there is the opportunity to do the same thing on Patreon if you want, or both. Some people actually support us on Patreon and by joining the channel, which is a huge, immense help. You have no idea. So if you're able to do that as well, please do so. Just Patreon/Trekyards. The same perks, the same ranks, the same everything applies over there. But if that's the way you want to support us instead of joining the YouTube channel, please do that as well. Also share the videos, do all that stuff, participate, just come to the lives, hang out, talk with us in the regular chat. But super chats are a great way to support us as well. We really appreciate those. They're very amazing. Also, there's links down below to the Teespring and the TeePublic store. By all means, click those links. Go check out some Trekyards merchandise and maybe grab yourself some. We really have some cool shirt designs and really neat things. So please, it's a natural fit. Just go check it out and see what kind of Trekyard stuff you guys might be interested in, because there's lots of good stuff. And yeah, lots of ways to support us and help us out. So please just spread the Trekyards word and goodness everywhere you can. And Samon's back.
Hello.
So Ozzy throws in $2
I'm
and
going to
says,
start playing the video, Stuart. It's the new video.
"Oh, you're just playing it now?"
I was busy.
Oh, I'll read Ozzy's super chat real quick then. Long live Skeleton Hands. And now Samuel knows what that means.
Yes.
But anyway, this is our fleet video. As you can see, lots of great names there, and
brand new
channel members, people that support us. Oh, is this the one with the?
Yeah, this is the new old Titan, as in it's new for this video. The Riker's Titan is now in the fleet.
Yeah,
that was one of our several additions, because you guys brought in a fleet admiral. Or an admiral, I should say. So there you go. The fleet continues to grow. So many hours. I'm staring at so many hours of work here, Stuart. My goodness.
Yeah, this one's got a bit of a gag in it too, which I really love. So.
I'll tell you when it pops up on the stream, even if you won't see it. There we go. Hello. Oh my God. What? What?
This is great. So yeah, see all those names there? You can be one of those names. You can be serving on one of these ships, get to hang out with your crew in the Discord and take part in fleet events and a whole bunch of cool stuff over there. So please, by all means, join us. Hit the join button. And as a result, you get to be part of all of our videos.
And there's so much,
some form or another.
And there's so much Trek canon respected in this animation.
Oh yeah.
You know, from all the different shows, give or take, all the different eras, and
we still need a Cerritos or a Parliament.
Yeah.
We need a lower deck ship in there somewhere. So.
Yeah, I haven't got a Parliament, but I got a Cerritos, as in just as a model. Yes. But it's amazing how, Star Trek, obviously we have lots of other sci-fi shows. This franchise has delivered so many good designs that some of just stand out and impressive and cool, and it's quite impressive really. Like some of these just hits, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and you have the option to become a captain and get a ship of your very own, or an admiral and get a hero ship of your very own. So,
but we do need more ensigns and more lieutenants, so the smaller ranks do help as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And this video is so long, we're still vamping because there's a lot of you.
That's awesome. That's awesome, though.
That's the wonderfulness of this.
You can't go wrong with ship shots and flybys. Come on.
And it's funny because someone said you'll run out of ships. It's like no.
No, we won't.
No. I will dig deep into the lore and the canon. There will be ships. There'll be ships.
Remember in like year 2 or year 3 of Trekyards, people were like, you'll run out of ships. We still have lots of ships we haven't even gone close to looking at yet. Not only just new ones, but like old ones as well. There's a lot out there.
Mm-hmm. We saved a few. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now our deepest of dives are even deeper now. So.
Absolutely.
And that's the last one. The runabout as it flies away. It shows our logo, and then our faces will appear in 3, 2, 1. And here we are.
Hi, guys.
Yes.
All right. Well, Matthew Lebner, member for 1 month at the rank of Admiral. Happy Monday, guys.
Happy Monday.
Stay too long.
Oh, no.
Looking forward to watching this later. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Hello, Matthew. Old and new. Welcome back.
Yes.
Matthew Lebner again, $5. Love that all the best references in this season was not in your face. You had to search for some or talk to friends and compare notes. There's a lot of small ones, a lot of ones that are quick flashes on screen.
I mean, there's an attack rule that jumps at you, so there are a few obvious ones that are there.
Indeed.
But yes, there are some subtle ones. I mean, look at this thumbnail, right? I mean, look how many cool variety of things here. And to note, I don't know if you knew that, Stuart, but I've been every single picture shared by anybody on Facebook or Twitter that that the algorithm has shown me, a behind the scenes picture I've downloaded as it's come out. Hence why I have Constable Moriarty and shots of the phase and stuff from people sharing stuff. Because how would I go back and search for that? I don't know. But I was able to go back into like a 300 picture archive of like people shared interesting things. That Borg shot is like straight from the set because there was nothing remotely that clear in the show. But that's one of the producers took that and it's like, yes, clear images.
And Rachel Garrett's in that thumbnail and not in my notes. I didn't get her in the folder, so I couldn't add her. My goodness. Anyhow, neither here nor there.
Okay.
Fat Produce, $5. I think using the appropriate music motifs from previous Trek scores used correctly. I heard motifs from Goldsmith, Horner, McCarthy, and Elderman. Yes. Music would be a good one.
Yeah, I mean,
for sure.
This is a tricky one because obviously I scrolled through the entire series and I went for visual gags for the most part. There's going to be smaller gags that weren't visual and like the music. So this is more of a best visual references for the most part because there's already so many of those. We could subdivide into like best musical. There's so much to look at. You could do best tech references, best character references. It's kind of a big mosh pit and see what happens, right? As a generality.
Yep. All right. Olivia. Excuse me. $5. I can make Cap say, I'm a pretty, pretty princess wearing a pretty pink dress because I super chatted.
Yeah.
You can, and she did. and you guys can as well.
I mean, it's not even a joke, it's just fact.
I mean, maybe. Never tell. Not while the lights are still on, anyway. Slim Jim Slim, member, a new member, join the channel at the rank of Ensign. Welcome aboard, Ensign. You will be assigned to ship.
Yes.
Course. So keep your eyes on the fleet video so you see where you're posted.
Yes.
Misha, member for 31 months at the rank of lieutenant. Good to see you, Misha. Says, be careful asking for more lower ranks. Why? Why? We love everybody on the lower decks.
Yeah.
Matthew Averett, $10.
Thank you.
Thank you for your hard work, the both of you. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you. It means a lot. Yeah. It means a lot just to hear that as well. You know, we work hard. We do things. We got more videos to come, and you guys are here to get kick butt with us. And you know, I know we focused on that fleet video, but we have got meta game things in the pipeline, as I've already been mentioned. Those in the fleet.
Fleet events, yes, they're fun.
I can see them going quite big. So that might be that's a game that any rank could be part of, but it'll be a meta thing. So if you do want to join that, that'd be a good time to get in because I'm sure once they start rolling out, it might be confusing if one's during. So if anyone wants to join as Ensign right now, do part of that fleet game, I think starting next week-ish, be an Ensign today, you'll be included. There might be some crazy stuff happening because, you know, we have clearly some CG ability, so there are possibilities.
And the fun thing is, it'll tie into the fleet videos as well as the Discord and your own ship chats. There's a lot of things going on that kind of tie together into one cohesive story. So keep your eye on the fleet videos because things change.
Yeah, you're basically sort of buying into a game as well.
Yes.
It's kind of the extra fun of it. But Stuart, who would like to go first? Me or you? I think you should go first.
All right, I'll go first.
Now, first, obviously, we asked how difficult. I made about 85 potentials. How easy was this list to make? A 10 list.
85 potentials.
Roughly, I mean, in the 70s or 80s.
Yeah, it was fairly easy. I mean, I didn't have a lot of time, so I was kind of scrolling through.
Yeah.
A few popped out instantly, obviously. Some I would like to. Some I kind of threw it together rather quickly, as I said. So one or two I might wish I could have changed.
Well, it's a real gut. I mean, you're going with sort of hyper gut, aren't you?
Yep. I selected 18 out of all of them my first pass through, and then I had to whittle those down.
Yep.
So I might have missed one or two other ones that maybe should be here, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think I went from 80 to 27 of like, those are really good. And then it was interesting. I had to throw away some children. I had to pick the best and throw some away because it was like... And I like these when there's so many options because you really have to justify to yourself why you like something and how the like of something can go beyond just that's cool. It could be symbolic to the franchise or to what the producer meant by doing it. A la, it might seem innocuous, but them doing this symbolize something big, even if they didn't realize it. Those sorts of things are in this potential list. Now, I will say that I have caveats, but we're near the start here, guys. I specifically didn't pick museum ships on purpose to try, because there's obviously over 10, right? So there could be you could do top 10 museum ships, right? I didn't pick any museum...
Which we will do.
Yeah. So I didn't pick any museum ships, so I could actually have stuff on the list. Otherwise, it'd be the same sort of thing. So, curveballs.
Yes.
All right,
It'll be an interesting list to see.
Yes, probably some similarities, but I can see it's being very, very, very different.
Yeah.
All right, your number 10 then, my man.
My number 10 is the real Season 5 to 7 plaque on the bridge. As I said, I thought it was originally a Franklin Mint one because they made an exact replica of this right down to the wooden frame, which I wish I would have got back in the day, but I really thought it was the Franklin Mint one.
When is back in the day? When were they made?
Yeah.
No, when were they made? When is back?
In the 90s.
The 90s, okay.
Yeah. I got a lot of Franklin Mint stuff, and this is just one of the things I didn't get, and I wish I would have. Because it's so nice to see that old, like, weathered kind of, bronzy looking plaque. It looks really great. This is actually the one though from the bridge from seasons 5 through 7 of TNG, which we found out through Dave Blass, and that's really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's back on its home on the bridge, which is amazing. And it was just great to see it back and to tie it into not only is the bridge back, but a piece of the original bridge is back, and it's the one that Picard goes straight to and looks at. So
Patrick's like, oh yes, I burned that corner in 1982. Oh yes. Damn, I thought I got away with that. And this is, of course, a meta reference because you're referencing. It's a reference in that only if you know the behind the scenes. So we're very broad here, but I really want to include this because I thought it was such a deliberate choice by the team.
Mm-hmm.
And the joke being, of course, it should look like this. So you'd be forgiven to say it was a perfect replica because it should look like this. But actually is this. That's what makes it, like you wouldn't think twice about this moment. But when you know, it's like, oh, they saved it for, 20 years, 25 years? And it's in good condition, clearly. Because there is a CBS archive that exists besides all the stuff they sold.
That they didn't sell yet.
They didn't sell. They had warehouses full, didn't they? All those behind the scenes of like Mike and Denise going through the warehouses. That would have been amazing to go through. My God, all the miniatures still there. Oh, that would have been. I'd been a good day.
How do you decide what to sell and what to keep, though? Because I've looked through the auction books, and my God, I would have loved to have some of that stuff. Some of it's like hero stuff, like the Enterprises and stuff. Like you think you'd keep those in storage, but yes, if you want to make some coin, that's a good way to, do it. Is auction those. But
I don't know if it was they were running out of money at the point, but yeah, if you could earn 400,000 for a miniature that is just sitting there taking up space, that to restore it to function on a set would be lots of money, and then using it, but it's easy to keep small stuff, obviously a phaser or a tricorder or a. But then, yeah. If it was me, I would have given every act like one of their uniforms, or at the end of a season, custom make a new uniform for everybody. I would do personally. But then if you're already over budget by like $500,000, you're really going to justify spending like $10K on uniforms. It's like, well, who's paying for that? You? No. Well, we're not going to pay for the studio. Oh, so I can see why that happens. But I would if I was a producer, like set that up, like everyone gets a uniform at the end. But then again, actors nick stuff and sell it 20 years later for bank. If they need money, if they're strapped, they'll sell it. It's like, well, that's not the point of me giving it to you, is it? The point is for you to keep it forever. So.
Yeah, but a lot of actors aren't that invested in
that's what I mean.
Franchise or whatever. So it's like.
Yeah, but then also you could turn that around. If an actor keeps a uniform in a box in an attic or in a storage unit versus a fan who's going to treasure it, wow, tangent, but yeah, selling stuff.
I think that's why the auctions are good, because it does get into the hands of people that actually want it, will spend money on it and display it and keep it in a collection where it can, not be stored away, so.
Yeah, and obviously they're making new shows all the time that need storage, so I guess it was also a case of we need to make room because we have thousands of items. Like we have an original Voyager way before the auctions. This is a story Dad tells all the time, is that I remember this just because I was younger, but I do remember it enough. And there was a guy with a rack of uniforms, Voyager, TNG, and First Contact. None of them are heroes, obviously, just all background. And they were like, I believe, like a First Contact original, just on some guy's rack, right? Were like $400.
Wow.
And if we had known, we would have bought several. Because that seems a lot. It seems a lot when you're there then. But knowing what they became worth, even 10 years later, not even close. And like he said this several times, he would have bought me one. Because it's a big present, but are you joking? An original? A replica will cost that much. Yeah, sorry. Fun tangents. Okay.
We're going to go on tangents. That's what this is about.
Yeah. In fact, I have 3 honourables. I just wanted to give them 3 brief honourables. I'll just jump through them. Just briefly. Number 13, Spot. Lovely moment, emotionful, and respect to Data and his lore. There you go. Number 12, the hybrid Jack phaser. I thought it was going to make top 10, but then it realised that it itself is so new that it's not a reference. It's a reference adjacent. So I was like, that was my logic, for me anyway, versus the other stuff. But it's still great. Number 12. Number 11, Moriarty, because it's amazing, but also he's in 45 seconds. So he can't get higher because you put all that work into getting him down in costume for 45 seconds is such a waste, but also still amazing. Hence number 11. Right. Honorables. We had a lot of options.
What is your number 10?
Is the bounty cloaking device. And this is very specific because, of course, it's a reference and a plot point and a clever workaround. And that's the sign of a good reference. That they thought, well, okay, now you could obviously argue they would have removed the cloak from bounty, or it would have been taken back to Kronos or something. But if you don't assume that, then there is a cloak in Sol system which was moved somewhere. It would work. It would be repairable. It's there. It's tech. It might be old, but it's workable. And it gets us through some problems. And given that the final battle revolves around having a cloaking device, well, they linked A to B to C to get a cloak from the Star Trek 3 ship that's helped save Earth. That's a lovely little workaround. Sadly got shot and destroyed, so we do know the end of that cloak. And I really wish they'd spent even one line saying how a absolutely antiquated cloak fools anybody, because every single ship's sensors should be able to detect it. Basically instantly. Especially once they know they can cloak, like in that final battle. After the first cloak, it should be easy to detect them. And you would think Borg have anti-cloak technology, so they could just tell their drones to activate Pantheon subsection 4 of you should be able to detect it right within a few minutes or seconds. So it's like the it's probably one of my worst things, like the warp outs that they can't chase, like forgetting that they have sensors it's just scene ruining moments. So when you're like, people can detect cloaked ships, like Voyager detected a Katinga.
Yeah, that's right.
Like within a couple of minutes it had it. This is worse than that cloak, and those ships are newer. So it doesn't really work without some nice dialogue, but it's still cool.
Mm-hmm. No, that was a good one. I considered putting the cloaking device on just because of its history.
Symbology, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But,
yeah, it was close.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's see. Now, let's move on to my number 9. And my number 9 is the phaser, the classic phaser.
It was close. It was close.
Shut it down. I really love this design. I love the TOS phaser. I love TOS stuff. But this one is like a hybrid, and I think it's great. I don't know why he still has it at the end when Q shows up, because he's serving on an active starship. It's not. I'm sure he's got a standard issue phaser, but for some reason he still has his own personal phaser.
Well, he's a maverick.
Well, nepotism. It all helps. Who's your dad? Oh, you can have that. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and I was able to, they kept in his bag, etc.
Yeah, I can't wait to see one of these in person. Like, this is what I'm going to get for sure. Hopefully, they'll have them at Wonderfest this year, which is quickly approaching, by the way. And yeah, if they have one, I'm going to be picking it up for sure, because this is a fantastic design. You can definitely tell the TOS-ness of it very easily. It's not like it's really shrouded that much, so it just speaks to me as far as a cool reference goes. And I want to know the history of it, why it's a TOS phaser, how he modified it, exactly how he modified it, or why he modified it.
Well, it actually comes together with what he says in episode 7. He's a Constitution class man, and this design represents 2 of the different Connie eras.
Yeah, sure.
So if he actively likes Kirk, because Kirk is the most famous Connie captain, you can imagine the holo programs where he saw them work with this phaser, and he thought, let me make a fun hybrid that's just cool. I think it kind of answers the question, honestly.
Yeah. People are saying it's a 150-year-old phaser. It's sold. Why bother? Well, it's obviously been upgraded, and it was packing quite a punch in the show, so yeah, it's amped up.
And what does that even mean, right? Like, giant phaser ship cannons are different because they're putting out a lot of power. How much power do you need in a hand phaser? In TOS, a Type 1 can wide beam a group of people. Why do you need a phaser rifle then? What is that doing?
It looks cooler.
Exactly. So, you know what I mean? There's no... I mean, in the DS9 phaser fights with the phaser rifles, they do nothing and all phaser doesn't do. They're entirely worthless in terms of, like, extra. You could actually have 2 hand phasers and be more efficient. right?
Mhm.
In function is what they're doing. And anything from an X phaser to this could phase a Gem Hadar soldier and kill him, right? Any of them. So this being designed based on an old phaser means nothing against most situations. Unless the person you're fighting has a personal shield, which, how many of those have we seen in Trek?
Yeah.
None? Then it's going to kill people, it's going to stun people. There's no need to have, plus all you have to do is put a better power cell and a better emitter, boom, you've up the wattage. I don't quite get that.
The Galaxy Sun says targeting, so you're saying that the rifle has targeting. Well, why didn't they use it at the Battle of whatever?
Yeah.
Forget that.
Yep.
They only use it. Usually, wide beam and stuff is like set off screen. You don't really see it. But when it comes to a phaser fight, it's like single beams, and then you're like, I got to change the power pack. You don't think you wouldn't imagine you have to change the power pack that frequently, ever, really. So it's just to make it an analogy to actual real world limited ammo situations. So
yeah, and the chat is right. The only thing you can say is it's about range, but then it just makes everything that's not a hand phaser becomes a sniper rifle. Because a hand phaser can absolutely shoot half a mile down. It'd be hard to hit, but a phaser rifle is not going to leave any more. Like, you physically can't see it unless you've got a scope, in which case it's there for the scope.
Well, yeah, I can imagine the phaser rifles having like a zoom scope.
Yeah, but then you're doing it for the scope.
See long distance.
That's what you're using it for, not the actual phaser itself. It's the scope and then the fact that
even if the phaser does have more range, having it in like a ground battle doesn't make a lot of sense unless you are like quite far away and doing sniper support, as you said. So. And
we've seen very few ground battles ever in Trek, so I can't really imagine.
Yeah, the Battle of AR 558. That's the one. I hate that episode for many reasons. But.
Yeah, so these phases, it's different when you got shipboard phases where it's about reaction and action, but you're always improving your shields to block the action. But in physical on the ground, without personal shields, it's irrelevant unless you're fighting like a door that has a shield. But then you probably know that and bring a grenade or something. So they're not going to be radically more powerful, or is that not going to be a problem?
Yeah. Dan says the phaser rifle can send out a pulse or burst, and not sure the hand phaser can do. Hand phaser has like 10 different settings on the TOS one. It's got all of the things.
You've seen the Nemesis one. It's got like 10 stun, 10 kill.
Yeah, it's got the different power things.
What else do you want? You can mega kill someone. What else do you want, right?
I can also see the phaser rifle, if you set it to overload, having a bigger blast radius.
Oh, sure. Yeah, there are extremes where rifles are powerful, but they're extreme for a reason, right?
And I can see how this phaser came about too.
Oh,
Somebody asked Terry, what's your favorite phaser? Oh, I really like the TOS one. No, wait, the one from Star Trek 6. The guy's like, okay, thanks. Goes and builds this proc.
Yeah.
Combine the two favorites. Yeah.
Well, they did say who designed it though.
Who?
It's one of the legends. Can you guess who?
Doug Drexler?
No, he's not really a weapon.
John Eves?
Nope. Oh, I just said it was John Eves. It's a nice surprise guy.
Don't know.
Jim Martin.
Oh.
I know.
He'll be at Winterfest.
Oh, jealous.
He's at Winterfest every year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jim is?
Pretty much. Yeah.
I need to get you some size and stuff for me then.
Maybe.
I have not got a signed Defiant print. I'd like a signed Defiant print.
But he's not there as a guest. He's just there. So I got to track him down. And...
Yeah, please. I want to sign Jim Martin Defiant. Got...
All right.
Anyway, your
number 9.
Yes.
What is your number 9?
Yes. My number 9 is the Borg interiors. Because it's amazing. We've had 2 seasons of Borg back to back with a something in the middle called a season. And one design I hate, actively dislike strongly. One I think is phenomenal. And why is the one phenomenal? It just uses the Borg aesthetic that was set up in all the shows, that was built up in all the shows. Was the other one like sort of but also not? And I think using the same white wall floor panels from the old sets, I think. But it kind of shows you how simple Borg sets really are. Alcoves with pipes, strobes. That's really all you need, and then it's how you sort of do stuff in between that makes it feel newer, older. Like the Voyager ones have a lot of stuff in between things to kind of give that textural, technological flair. This is meant to look damaged and destroyed. It's very barren. It makes sense, right? And then TNG, it's like wall-to-wall stuff, but it's not very detailed stuff because they want to... Anyway. But it was an instant win, and the fact that they did actually hold a lot of it back in the first episode, because of the two, in episode 9... I'd said I want to see any drones. They could be mannequins in the alcoves, right? Why aren't we seeing them? Just like with the Queen, they wanted to hold some stuff for episode 10, like a drone fight, because you could say they've no money for drones. Okay, but they had, and they did, and great. So it was a nice holdover, but it just works. And I've heard that they did base the they did a hybrid. They based the alcoves more on the TNG version, and other stuff on the Voyager stuff. So it was a nice hybrid, because unlike... That's what Dave Blass said. Unlike a lot of their stuff, this tech is literally from Voyager. That cube was from Voyager era, so they can't reinvent the wheel if it's literally a cube from that point, which is why it's so familiar. And then you got this lovely TNG top thing. So it shows these things are not rocket science, and do it properly, and fans will love it. And by do it properly, I mean just use the old and then make a new version of the old as faithful, and you're done.
Yeah.
It's not hard. Like, it might be hard work to finish it, but it's an instant win. Right? It's annoying how they can get it so wrong when it's such an easy aesthetic to understand.
Yeah. 115 people watching, 61 likes, guys. Hit that like button. Super chat in with your things that you want to talk about, your favorite references, Easter eggs, all that in this season, cameos. Super chat in, we want to read them. Just going to say about the Borg thing. It's ironic because on Twitter, Dave showed a really great video of them walking through the hallway, and it's better lit. And you can actually it feels almost like a first-person video game type of vibe. And I know you commented on it because it's like, oh, you wish you could have seen more of it, and I do too. It's so dark, and you see like one little section and then another angle. I just wish they would have had like a walkthrough, like Dave did for that video, because it was very impressive to see. And being, sorry to say it, but to be better lit, I think helps a bit. The TNG Borg cubes were a little bit... They could see more. So they did put a lot of effort into it, and unfortunately it didn't all show on screen. But, thank God we have Dave Blass and Twitter to see all of the cool stuff after the fact and get it in quite a good bit of detail. So, yeah.
Love it.
More is better. All right, let's move on to my number 8. What did I pick for? Voyager model in 7's quarters. That was a nice little touch.
See, tiny things like that's a single edit. You can easily miss this. Cool.
Yeah, like she had this, just the fact that she had a Voyager model, and then later when she goes to the museum and talking to Jack about it, how that was her home, that was where she was reborn, what it means to her. So the fact that she had that in her quarters was very, very cool. I didn't notice it till I saw this picture. It's just the Eagle Moss one, of course it is, but just the Eagle Moss one painted silver. Which kind of bums me out, but hey, I like the one that Janeway has in Prodigy in her ready room or her quarters. It's a bigger version. Would have been cool if they had something similar to that here.
And there were obviously Eagle Moss XLs as well, in theory.
Yeah, exactly. This is just the regular one. It's like fiddly and dinky.
Yeah.
They put it on some kind of clear, plexi,
which hides the black stand that you can still see.
Yeah. Well, you probably brightened this up, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I always have to.
I don't remember seeing all of this detail, but yeah, I hate the stands for Eagle Moss, but that's just another tangent. But it's great. I just like that she has this little memento of Voyager in her quarters. It's just perfect.
No, well, yeah, this is like the tiniest of references, and it's the easiest thing to do is paint it with a primer, and then paint it with some silver. Boom. Yep. XL would have been much nicer, just for like clarity of whatever, and see a shot of her with it. I've got to wonder though, was this a thing that she only gained for photoshopped, replicated after she got an assignment? Because was this on her Fenris Ranger assignments? Did she take this with her to different shuttles? Was it in her house back on Fenris Ranger HQ? Because her shuttle got destroyed in season 1, so if that was a personal ship that she lived on, this shit got destroyed. Like all of Jack Crusher's possessions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm assuming this was like a, I'm back in Starfleet, baby. Computer, replicate me a... Wait, why aren't you Majel Barrett? Oh. Computer, replicate me a Voyager. Eaglemoss scale. What? Nothing. Nothing. No, it's nice. I mean, we value the ship. It's nice to see they do. I wonder if she, like, walked up to it and played with it for a second, like, oh, it's, I wonder.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably
I
not.
just have a feeling a lot of people don't really care about the ships as far as actors go. But just that little character moment, character idiosyncrasy was cool to see. So.
Oh, yeah, Sergeant Montgomery. There's no reference to 17 and Alcove. Yeah, but you can't really be a feminist ranger, fighter, crime fighter, and need to go back to a box every day.
I think that's been addressed. Yeah, I think that was...
Not on screen, but...
No, but it was fixed at some point, I think, in her past.
I think you'd have to, just to live. As soon as you're on a mission... Because Voyager was very stable, even though it was, like, big and broad exploration. If you're suddenly away for 3 days, you'll die. Or however, like, a couple of days. So, Yeah, imagine being stuck in a shuttle with Seven and she's so dying because she's running out of power. It's like, ooh.
Try charging her up.
But my number 8, though,
so
Stuart.
Yes, your number 8.
I'm going to give it to Q. Which is funny, he's not really a reference so much as a giant plot point. But that counts.
I wouldn't say he's a giant plot point at all. He's maybe before it's coming up.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, he's a giant future plot point, even though he might be a past version of himself in a non-linear temporal sense. Yeah, this is a reference as well because it's a sort of a meta reference to season 2. Fuck off. I mean, those are funny. It's like watching Rise of Skywalker and seeing how many fuck yous to Rian Johnson there are. Like, you can viscerally feel them right throughout the film. It's just wonderful. And so this is like not that literal, but it's like, well, we had the thematic death for Picard, but he's not a character who we can truly kill because A, it seems unlikely, but also he's a waste of a character. But if we have him, like it somehow in my head it has not devalued season 2's death scene, which Spock's death in 2 is also not devalued by 3 because they're different. They're different. So he died for his relationship with Picard. That's actually meaningful. That was that. This is something new. This is something fresh, or at the same time, or whatever. Although the fact that he's wearing the Picard season 2 uniform and looking like he did in Picard season 2 implies he is after season 2. Like you said in another video, he'd be de-aged if he was another Q, and he wouldn't be wearing some sort of other robes. Like these are season 2 Q dying stuff. Entirely because the prop costume department, but clearly implying this is Q post-death or near death. But again, I think this is entirely retconning season 2, and I love it. So it's and John Delancey was right. He said he was in season 3, and he was 2 years ago.
Yes, he was.
Dear me.
No, I agree. People are freaking out about he should be dead. He shouldn't, though. Like anywhere in his timeline, whatever. Maybe lied to Picard. Who knows? I think it's great. Actually, I just wish he would have been like a younger. I wish they would have de-aged him. Honestly, he doesn't have to be this age. He only did that for Picard.
That's why I mean it's probably a post Picard season 2 moment.
Yeah.
Because he looks like he did for Picard. There's no other reason for that except money, but that's not a reason inside the show.
Yeah. So, anyway.
It's debatable, and it's left debatable. That's sort of the point.
Yeah. There's so many possibilities with this character, so...
But, I mean, it's like...
way to end out.
It's like you can't really kill Q and you can't really kill the Borg, truly, because you're removing them from all other storytellers. They were toolbox elements invented before you even worked in TV. They've helped every show and every game. I mean, Q's appeared in games and movies and comics. I mean, he's the infinite something character. You can do something with him. You can't just take him off the board forever.
You know what really annoys me about Q? Is when we do a video about Q and we have to tag that video, you can't use one letter as a tag. So I can't put Q in the tags. Which is really weird.
That's weird.
But you find other ways to get around that. But it's annoying. So, YouTube, get your shit together.
And speaking of, guys, super chat your thoughts. We haven't had one in a long time, so put your thoughts in, your comments, your questions. You know, we're talking Picard. Jean-Luc
Yeah, let us know
Picard.
what you think of their art choices, or tell us what you liked reference-wise, please. And hit that like button. I want to get to 100 likes. We can do it. All right. My number 7 is also a cameo, and this is from Tuvok. I always loved Tuvok. He was one of my favorite Voyager characters and one of my favorite Vulcans. Just he's so stoic. He's so logical. He's the like perfect Vulcan to me. So having him back was awesome. It's not an argument could be made for the ears, but I don't have a problem with it, honestly, as much as a lot of other people do. But having him back as both a changeling and himself, and just having a moment with Seven, which I think was good because, you know, he was her mentor and he helped her quite a bit on Voyager.
For a bit, anyway. It's kind of a Janeway and a...
Yeah.
I think originally Terry said originally it was Janeway.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't make it work for many, many reasons, etc.
Yeah. I was getting there, actually. I think a lot of people were complaining that Janeway wasn't in the finale, which would have been great, honestly. But this works just as well. If you're going to get a character from Voyager to interact with Seven after Janeway, this is the first logical choice, if you will. More so than Chakotay, who they had a relationship for one episode. So yeah, this was and Tim Russ, you know, still doing a very good Tuvok. Yeah, and good to know that the changeling didn't kill him. So seeing him twice was awesome. The first time really kind of like, oh, that's awesome, and then he like confirms that he is the real Tuvok for a second, and then right away gets shot down. It's like, oh, this is great. But it had everybody worried for him, and yeah, I'm glad everything's fine. So
he's one of the few actors that actually has played Tuvok several times since. He played in Gods and Men, Renegades 1, and Renegades 2, even though he sort of went off to the side. So he's actually played him twice for movies in the in-between years. So he's had practice, right?
He even showed up in Lower Decks, just not the voice. Just like he did a mind meld thing. That's all. I saw a visual of him. But yeah, that's mine. That's my number 7.
And Matthew says, I feel like Janeway would have overshadowed the following goodbye scenes. Everyone would have been talking about how Janeway's back and she needs this and that. I mean, but did Q overshadow anyone else? I mean, he's more important than Jack. Did he overshadow the scene? No, yes, it was a dual scene. Did the G overshadow the F? Yes, no. The F, you know.
There's just a lot of confusion there because people are like, there's 2 Enterprises now? No, the F was being decommissioned, first of all, and it probably very likely got destroyed as well.
Several people have said to me, I can't believe the Enterprise F had 1 year and then it got decommissioned for the G, and I'm like, what? Because they didn't hear the word decommissioning, and the way it comes out of Space Dock, it does look like it's being launched. Let's be honest, that's a launch sequence, but it's the decommissioned launch sequence. Yeah. I mean,
it's its final flight, essentially.
But if you miss that in the previous episodes, that's fine. Like, you can miss lines of dialogue. But I've heard that several times. Oops. Okay, cool. Tuvok. I like it.
You're number 7, sir.
Yes, I was going to go there. The gold badge, Stuart. It makes it on my list.
I knew it would.
I knew you knew that it would, Stuart. I knew.
I also knew that you knew that I knew that you would.
I mean, 50,000% better. Not even comparable. I mean, I'm going to pretend that doesn't exist. I can now do it more justifiably. But, you know, this, and this. It's a family. It's a beautiful family with varying styles. Who the fuck is this? Right?
That's like a Section 31 badge.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Now, I get this obviously was not intentional, but you can say, oh, the darkness, because it was a dark era of Trek. So therefore, they would recommission all the badges to have a dark plating. Yeah. And now it's bright, so we gold it, despite a massacre just happening. Great time to go for positive when we're massacring. But no, gold badge, you can see it, you can read it. I didn't realize how good it was going to look on screen until I saw them. I'm still annoyed that the badge is now touching the line, because it never was. It was lower. That's what pisses me off. I mean, the red might be thicker than Voyager, but it looks so, for me, untidy to be touching the red. It has a very specific point. That's why in all of my variants, even load at Prodigy and Prodigy and Picard, I don't have it that high. It just looks stupid to me. I don't know why. It just looks silly. But gold badges is great, and it's symbolic of Terry making one last fix before he leaves, because he didn't have to do that. But you can't actually spend the money at the end of the beginning of the season, but you can at the end. Would have been amazing if it started with this though, and Seven and the whole team had these. That would have been beautiful.
I wish they were changing over to them just at the beginning of the season instead of the very end.
Yeah, that'd have been absolutely incredible.
Neil Hammersmith says too much gold on the badge, not balanced like the Voyager badge. Disagree.
I mean that is not like that isn't balanced at all, but it is. Like this still looks great. Like it's actually,
yeah.
Personal preference, obviously, but I mean I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I mean you could argue this is too much silver. It's unbalanced. It would be interesting to fill the silver in and see, but I kind of like the like I don't this because the split makes sense because it's this badge.
Yeah.
But I like the open delta for this because it just gives so much depth.
The ironic thing is, if you colored in the middle silver of the delta and turned it sideways, it would look like the banners on some of the ships. Because you got the delta with the streaks coming after it. One long and one short.
Yeah. And obviously, if you did this, took the inner bit, swapped it, then the relativity badge.
Yeah, that's just
Ish. But I just think it looks great, and as I said during the video, it's actually more important than people realise because it's symbolic of, Ryan Denning, who's a great designer, had to design bridge window elements because of Discovery, because of because of JJ, right? These line elements have continued because of the last show did it, so I've got to continue that line. It's like, but that was a mistake, clearly. Oh no, but you're being respectful to oh no. So if this had been the badge into the end of the show, the next show would have a badge with silver and grey, because that's the logical lineage. So by doing this, we're actually going to get the real colours back again after, a decade. So I'm very, very, very thankful for that.
For many reasons. It just pops so much better. It's so much more readable. But, yeah.
And it looks more sci-fi too, because the way you see it, it's weird, but it's Trek. This is just silver on black.
Ironic thing is, in universe, they're made of actual gold. Because gold's not any big deal. It's not like it's worth a lot necessarily. But, yeah. Yeah. All right. We're getting near the halfway mark of both the live and the lists. So, guys, hit that like button. We're still 20 away from 100 likes. Haven't got a super chat in a while, so if you guys want to super chat in with your favorite things, your favorite references this season, we want to hear them. We might be some that we completely missed. We want to hear what you guys have to say. So,
Dan Ben, yes, they did click the badges. I think it was in the last episode. I think someone did. Someone did something. Pretty sure someone did. One of the gold badges. I'm like, pretty sure.
Yeah. All right, my number 6 is all thanks to Operation Phoenix. The return of James T. Kirk. Sort of, kind of. Heartbeat monitor.
Dum 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 dum.
Daystrom Station. What secrets does it hold? Just having this opens up so many possibilities for the future. And I love that it kind of ties into the William Shatner verse. With like the return of Kirk. Lots of potential, lots of possibilities. I love that the whole thing there's like, you can't read it here, but it is readable. Talking about what happened on Meridian and, recovering the body for Operation Phoenix. There's some cool stuff there. So, and of course it's Kirk. So having Kirk back is amazing. So many future storytelling possibilities. But yeah, Kirk. Even though it's a cameo, but not, which is weird. I wonder if that's actually William Shatner's skeletal scan. Got his X-rays, made it accurate.
They licensed out his skeleton.
Yeah.
CBS licensing just got straight on that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean this is ridiculous. right? And
in a good way.
and it's been fun to see Terry's retorts to this. He's saying, "It's a story for the future. I'd love to tell it, but it's there."
Yeah.
Because it feels, to reanimate him or to bring back something else, it actually does feel like a multi-series story. Now they have set a groundwork. It can happen. It's up to someone to actually realise it. But it's here, right? And of course, Shatner, it being Shatner, is less and less likely as the years go on. But if they can get actually competent, no offense to the new guy, but he's not very Shatner Kirk-like. He's
isn't he?
yeah. If they get someone who really harnesses what it means to be Captain Kirk, then you could, wow, we cloned a 26-year-old Kirk. This is an incredible story development, There's a lot you could do with that. A lot you could do with that. And because, because he did die, it wouldn't ruin his legacy. It'd be just like with Picard, a second legacy.
Yep.
In Star Trek Legacy, oh my god, that's why.
There you go. Neil Hammersmith says, my wife shat in her pants when she saw this because she's a huge Kirk fan. That's good. Good play on words. I like it. They turned Kirk into the Winter Soldier. I mean, hey, they could. Will we ever move past TOS characters? When they die, sure. But while they're here, why not use them? Like, that's my logic.
Because isn't that like saying in 20 years we should never mention TNG again, and therefore never mention Voyager or DS9 because they're all so old? We can only use Discovery. No, Discovery's too old. Okay, we can't use anyone in any show ever. So all of them, I think, like, aren't most of the viewed episodes of all time the ones with Legacy coming back? Like, the biggest watched TNG episode is the Spock one. Relics is well viewed. Like, these things have so much extra interest, and they're godsends, right? They came back, they agreed to do it, they gave a performance. Because now we can't bring Scotty back.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. Like, that's it. So it's godsend. I mean, it's even if Shatner's last Kirk performance is at the Oscars, hopefully he'll get one more chance.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. What's your number 6, my friend?
My number 6 is Tasha Yar.
Oh, she almost made my list.
And it's not because I actually love Tasha Yar, because she's fine, right? She got like 20 episodes, and half of them shouldn't say anything, give or take. She's shockingly in not a lot of the content because she's an ensemble and they didn't know they were going to kill her. But it's more of a case of symbolically, it would have made more beauty in art to bring her back physically in any way. But having seen the season, don't know how. I mean, this scene would have been an obvious way you could have actually brought her back for like one de-aged shot in a uniform. Like, you could have done it. I certainly could have done it as a CG artist, right?
Yeah, exactly. And Spot was in that vision he had, so why not have her walk in, instead of just the hologram thing.
Yeah, but this obviously works better, cheap and cleverly wise, whatever. But it's more a case of that, she left the show, right? It wasn't them firing her. She left the show for many reasons, and then the show went on to be the biggest show on television. If she'd stayed, she would have had not a lot to do, but it would have been not a lot to do with everyone else, so it would have been a medium not a lot to do. But she would have had more to do than she got in season 1. Because she's a fine actress, bit of an odd character, but rape gang is never a good start for a character. But it was a punt, right? Mm-hmm. But the fact that even though she left, and there's a little bit of bad blood, just a little bit, they brought her back as Sealer, and as Tasha for Enterprise. Her post season 1 content was arguably better than her pre-season 1 content, and her Stowe content's great, right? And she was an Armada too. Like the actress really engaged with the universe, and so anything is a maybe. But for the showrunner Terry and the writers to say we need to include this, it's more the fact that we respect all of TNG and we love the original cast, and this is a family that we lost a member too soon, so let's make sure we give them a direct moment. That's why it's up here. Not because I love Tasha or even this itself, but the fact that it says we actually love TNG, what it all represents, what it meant to all of us, and this character was gone, but never forgotten, right? That's important, because how many shows get seasons and there's someone who leaves in season 1, you never talk about them again, ever again. You know, the butler or the side hand. This character is still in our minds, even though they only did so much. I'm just saying, symbolically, it's up there for me.
Yeah. Merlos says, watch Code of Honor today. Hashtag Code of Honor. Yes. Good for you. I'm sorry you ruined part of your day. Anyway, yeah. Like I said, it would have been cool to bring her back in some other kind of form, but I mean, at least we got this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even Pulaski would like to see back. Got a USS Pulaski reference. That was about that one. Like, there's, and it's a shame Wesley didn't come back. It's a shame they kind of squandered his cameo return for the last season, because this is about Beverly's kid. That's what this season's about. Like, it would have been cool if Jack and Wesley had a small moment or something. But anyway, can't get everybody back.
I mean, you could have if you gave them more episodes of more money. And well, it's more a case of they squandered the money of seasons 1 and 2. Imagine if they had the season 1 budget. You know, Terry's gone out and said so many things they couldn't do because of budget. And I would love to know the genuine, you know, I'm just going to say numbers I don't know. I'm just saying, what if season 1 got, 80 million and season 3 got 60 million? And it feels like a more interesting show for that money. You know, we don't need all these big, weird sets and exteriors and shit, Like, yeah. Yeah.
She could come
oh, yes. Yeah, well, we've said that. Like, that would have been a good villain to play in.
All right. Moving on to 5. We're at the halfway mark, guys. Still 8 likes away from 100, though. And still super light on super chats.
Yeah, you guys aren't super liking. Weird.
Yeah, like been almost like half an hour. What's up? You don't like us?
Well, they just don't super like us. They like us.
Oh, okay. You don't want to tell us what you guys like? Come on, we want to hear you guys. Anyway, regardless. My number 5 is the return of the Enterprise D bridge. Now, I wasn't sure if I should put this on the list. And it's only at the halfway point, so. But this has to be mentioned because this was, thanks to Terry, I think a good way to spend their money and resources, and it really paid off. Is this even the one from the show? This is the one from Vegas, isn't it?
No, this is everything's I got everything. This is Picard, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, remember like I said, I got behind the scenes pictures.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it for some reason.
Well, some person just took it on their phone or whatnot, so it's
Yeah, so just having the bridge back, like a daunting effort, like to think to have to do this. And they added little details. They had little cup holder things that Andrew Probert originally wanted, which was nice, which I saw in one of the behind-the-scenes photos. And I'm like, that's a detail I didn't know was there. Cool. And then today I found out from posts from Michael Okuda that they actually added it. It was never there originally. Something Andrew kind of wanted. So, and I would love to get Andrew Probert's take on seeing this thing reimagined. Well, not reimagined, just rebuilt. Because it's not reimagined. It's not a new take on it or anything. So I would like to hear his thoughts on it. But yeah. Do I wish that they had built like transporter room or something as well? Yes, kind of. But it's not needed, unfortunately, for the story they told. I just think it was kind of weird. They were just shoehorned onto the bridge, and they were the only people on the ship. There was nobody else in engineering or anything helping them out. Just seemed kind of rather odd. But automation systems in the future have been upgraded. So.
Yeah, and there was that Major Grim video just came out, which it compared the Enterprise D's ability to go in tight spaces to Pegasus, where there was a giant fuss about going into an asteroid.
Yeah.
Because the Admiral ordered it, despite Picard saying no, and so Picard has to say, I am formally putting a complaint, because they're like, this is so dangerous it might kill the ship. Cut to Enterprise D and Picard doing this.
Yeah.
Clearly, they don't. Shut up. That's all you can do. You know, it's fine. It's just don't watch TNG and compare, because you had to do something else.
Yeah. Neil Hammersmith throws in $2. Thank you so much, Neil.
Hi, Neil.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean the Bridge of the D. It's it's almost more sad, honestly, to see it and know it wasn't state assembled. You know, it's a mecca of Star Trekdom. I almost feel like if there'd not been coronavirus, if there'd been more planning, they could have built it on like an outside location where it could be like could stay for 6 months. Because then you can imagine if the week after the episode comes out and they say, okay, starting the 29th, this part of LA, the bridge will be open for tours, 6 every day for like 6 months, and it's like that will pay for, recoup a lot of the season, or build, like as we said last live, instant money maker. And it's like, if you'd built it somewhere that wasn't the main... it's not practical to do, but if somehow you could do that, you would be able to instantly make it something else, make money. Although I'm sure James Cole would be a bit annoyed, because it's like, he has his own version. But if it took them 3 months of like 50 people, how long is it going to take James? It's probably taking him 4 years to do the back and some chairs, and the wall's going to be far harder.
Yeah,
I mean, he might spend the next 10 years making it, honestly.
Sergeant Montgomery says it would have been cool to see the captain's yacht. It would have been if they could have found a way to incorporate having the captain's yacht on the D launch and actually see that for the first time in this season would have been fantastic. And get the interior of that as well. New part of the Enterprise D we never saw before. Yeah. But sadly, we didn't get that. So anyhow. All right, what is your number 5, sir?
Wait, I want to look at the chat first, Stuart.
All right, what's in the chat? That's so exciting. Thank you, Dark Lord Revan. $5. Just happy I got off that Oberth class in Trekyards fleet. Felt like I could explode at any time. I wish Barclay would have returned, working for the Forge. Yeah, it would have been great to have Barclay back and Chief O'Brien, honestly. But you guys time to shine in PS9.
Yeah, because they're TNG side characters, but just as cool. But that's where you need another season. That's where you need more money to have those what if, This is why Terry clearly will give the fans not necessarily what they want, but something that they'll enjoy. Because everyone has different what you want. I think a lot of people wouldn't have chosen the Borg again just because we've had the Borg so many times now. Doesn't mean it wasn't satisfying. It's just, So there's good times. Those good times.
Yeah, I don't think this is the one made for the show, dude.
Yeah,
I'm looking at it, and that sure don't seem right.
Well, I mean, no. Well, now you're saying that the side things, but it was in my behind the scenes batch that I
don't think it is though.
Well,
Just something about it's feeling off to me. A lot of things about it.
Oh yeah, see, maybe that person shared as like a look compared to the Vegas one. Maybe they shared as like multiple at the same host. It was definitely from one of the people who worked on Picard. But yeah, now you're saying that. Let me go into that folder and find a different.
What I'm looking at is the side things, the chairs, the colors of the displays at the back, the horseshoe, the height of the back. The ramps don't seem to be tall enough.
So one or two things is what you're saying.
Yeah, the lighting above all the sand stations at the back, the lighting in the alcoves.
Who do you think you are? Trekyards? Stop sounding so knowledgeable. Okay, that's the real one. You can tell because it's a way shittier photo. And yeah, I mean the chairs aren't connected to the back; they're connected to the floor now. And the lighting's way more like, look, people. Yeah, that was a much sexier photo, Stuart. Wait for the new one to show up. You'll be like, oh,
Yeah, that's much better.
it looks
More
much worse though.
vibrant carpet as well.
Yeah, but again, the walls are wrong color. They're bright yellow. There should be more. Which was interesting that press photo, if that was Vegas, it must have been, is much closer to the real one. This is just a bright yellow.
Yeah.
Weird.
So I'm thankful for the Vegas bridge.
Good job. All right.
All right. What is your number 5?
My number 5 is the old James T.
Kajirk.
Huh?
James T. Kajirk.
Ah, yes. Because the fact is, this is an insane reference. This is the sort of thing that is fan love, but also how do you make it work? But we've already, this you're still processing it when the Picard cadaver comes up, so it instantly feels more natural. Oh, of course they wouldn't. Of course they'd keep captains. Like, because you just, you've seen another one. But yeah, the idea of it's not even so much you can bring him back to life directly. It's just more the logic of, well, why the hell would you leave the most famous captain of the second era of Trek, and X being the first era, on a desert planet underneath 7 rocks, be eaten by coyotes? It's nonsensical. And also Prime Directive. I mean, they already said, if anything, there you go. Geordi said Prime Directive, we can't leave the saucer on the planet because if.
And influence the system.
Yep. So if there's a corpse, now obviously it's far less likely to be found, although it was, again, right off a mountain. The DNA, the clothing, the comm badge, all that stuff is of the wrong era and the wrong planet. And if in 200 years they become technologically advanced enough to scan for metal isn't Earth bound or their planet bound, they'd find it. So if anything, they should have removed it just for pure Prime Directive. And now I've said it seems too obvious. But obviously, we also said at the time it could be Nexus energy related. The fact that, yes, he's in the Nexus, he's got this unique pattern to his DNA that's useful in some grander story. A lot you can do with that. Or maybe, as I think I said at the time, maybe they were able to, because the Farragut shows up not super long after. Maybe they're able. Yes.
I was buying time for you. Yeah.
Thank you. Maybe because it's 10 at night. Maybe the Farragut was able to, when does brain function cease? Maybe Nexus energy kept his brain active, at least not de-energized or whatever. So when the Farragut finds him, puts him in storage, puts him in cryo sleep, and they're able to take the memories out and put Kirk's memory engrams into his body. There are stories you could tell with that would be crazy. And yeah, there's things you could do that would be pretty special.
And yeah, it's paving the way for future storytelling, either by Terry or whoever wants to pick up that call. Even said the same thing about the Enterprise E and about being captain. It's a story for somebody else to tell. But, set up that pen so you knocks it down. Okay, so now we're into the top half of the list. We are going into my number 4. Are we? I can't hear you.
Yes, number 4 is the...
Number 4 is the D. More important than the bridge to me is the ship. Ships. Star Trek ships. Trekyards. Right? Yeah.
Eagle Moss. Right there. Boxes. Ships.
Anyway, so the Enterprise D coming back, all the iterations of it in this 2 episodes, because we looked at quite a few different versions, but it was nice to see back, and the detail that was involved in it, even like the interior window detail, that flyby was quite beautiful. So we needed a definitive CGI model of the ship, I think, though, with actually like blueprint accurate rooms inside the windows. Get on that, Samuel. be that hard, obviously.
Well,
Anyway.
and it's funny because like there is plenty of reference to the 6-foot miniature. Like, and what's nice about something like this on like a Star Wars ship where there'll be greebly of a tire on the left-right quadrant, and there's a toothbrush that's been broken to be to replicate deliberately random greeblies is difficult. Versus, I'm going to build one ultra detailed escape pod, and then just copy it lots. But you can make a definitive escape pod. You'd think you can make a definitive phaser strip, right? There are as good as you can get. So I agree. That'd be nice to see somebody do a insane one, but then you get people like Tobias who make beautiful ones, but it's still there are still things you're like, well, you could do it more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny that.
Yeah, so it's only my number 4, but that is
wow. But this is the thing.
It is one of the things. I think I might have cheated on one of the things coming up.
Right.
You knew that was coming. Curveball time.
Yeah, that's the old.
I won't say the other thing I said to you.
Okay, thank you. My number 4 is also Tuvok.
Nice.
Because it's a combination of Voyager love, which I like Voyager a lot. I like the characters, I like the ship, I like the storylines, I like the sci-fi. It's really good, that sort of sci-fi. And he is a standout character in it, especially as unlike Paris and Kim and Chakotay, they're all fully original characters. He is a Vulcan first and foremost. He is in a box, and yet this man. He expanded the Vulcan box for everyone else to come after him. He took what was there and he made it bigger and better, and that's kind of like Sarek did. You've got Spock, and then Sarek suddenly expands what a Vulcan can be. Zachary Quinto certainly didn't. Like, he punched people, but he didn't add anything. Ethan Peck, we'll see. He's doing well, but he's still in the box. This guy just did. He was given how many hours of content to work in? Jesus, 26 episodes a season. He was always at least a secondary character. He was rarely just there. Yes, the ears are sad because they had reference of his ears and they got them wrong. And I don't buy he got older, because that's a silly argument. He's in Starfleet. He's a captain. He's not that old, even though he is very old. It's just a lazy excuse for we used pre-existing ears from season 1 to save money. Okay, I get it. But, because I watched a Voyager clip the other day and he looks much better. Because his are just very different.
Yeah, I noticed that too. 2 days ago I saw something. It's like, oof.
Yeah, so he looks like an elf. That's the thing. It's amazing how there are elven ears that feel like elves and there are Vulcan ears. They are actually different, even though they're both pointed. And this is not a Vulcan, it's an elf ear. And they also go out. They're actually meant to be flush, give or take. So he has a wider face. It's weird. But yeah, he did a great job. Obviously, it's odd if that's his last performance. In that he was good, but he wasn't. The first scene he wasn't being Tuvok, so that's not really counting. The second scene he's good, but he didn't. As we said in the previous video, he didn't add that sentimentalness of this is a friend I've had for 20 years. That was really absent. It was oddly like it could have been Janeway. It could have been Harry Kim. It wasn't. He didn't add enough of Tuvok because the lines just didn't have time. It wasn't the the reunion we've all waited for 20 years. It was it's Tuvok and Seven in the same scene. Cool. It was about Shaw, right? That's who the scene was about, Shaw and Seven. So it could have been other people that wouldn't have detracted too much from the scene. It's a fine scene, but hopefully he'll get a better last scene, because this was okay, but it wasn't as Tuvok is. It could have been, but not his fault. It's a weird one, but it just opens up like, now you've brought them back once, do it again.
How old is Tuvok supposed to be in Picard?
140.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So I think he's older than Sarek was when he died. Because he had to be, like, to include him. He died 203. Okay, he's got some time. He's got some time.
Terry said he had plans of January 27,
Mhm.
but yeah. I don't know how I feel about that. Anyway, moving on.
Mhm.
So now we're coming into our top 3. Wow.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Bronze, silver, and gold. Okay, this is where you guys super chat in. Let us know
Mm.
what your favorite things were, or try to guess what our number 1 is going to be.
Mhm.
There's a lot of references. What is it going to be, guys?
Yeah, like I said at the start, there was like 80 things I included. Huge variety. I'm glad I've done some odd ones. That's kind of the point of these, to kind of say what impacts us, right? And how many of them are Voyager, apparently, because you did the Voyager model, you did Tuvok. How many of them Voyager, etc.
So let us know, guys. We want to hear from you. Also, hit that like button. Let's try to get to 150 likes. You can do that. If you haven't joined the channel yet, at least look at the join options by clicking that join button. Find out there's lots of ways to support us, so please send any way you can. All right, here we go. Deep dive. Number 3 from Captain Foley is the Federation class dread.
It's as if I didn't put it in just for you.
Right? I love you. You're
Yes.
so nice.
Yeah, give some deep dive explanations, Stuart, for those that don't know, because people are like, what are you on about, Stuart? Man that they call Stuart.
Where should I start? Back in the day, Star Trek Technical Manual, Franz Joseph, in which he included a 3-nacelle dreadnought, which was called the Federation class. Well, for reasons that we won't go into here, Franz Joseph's work was kind of discredited. Therefore, and there's also problems with his estate, his family, as far as rights go. So none of the things in that technical manual could technically be canon, but a lot of them sneak in. See a single nacelle Saladin class on a display screen in 1 or 2 of the movies. You get references to the USS Entente, which is a Federation class, in one of the movies. There's a lot of little things that kind of sneak in. This was one that was always my favorite when I was a kid. I loved the Federation class dreadnought. I loved the 3-nacelle ship designs. This was the one that spoke to me. And here it is here. It is one of the, well, it's not an Eagle Moss ship, ironically. It's on an Eagle Moss stand of sorts, but Eagle Moss never made one. Again, licensing rights. So I don't know where this came from. Obviously somebody, maybe Terry, really liked this ship and included it in here. But it's not the only one. There's like 2 or 3 in the scene when you see a more brightly lit version that Terry shared. So there's a few of them here. But there's a 3-nacelle Federation class dreadnought right there, canonized essentially on screen because it's hanging out with all the other ships, including the fat one. And I think that's fantastic because this is a ship I know I've wanted in video games and things over the years. Never really included. Sure, there are novels and stuff like that, but that's different. Now it's on screen. So this was one that really was like a surprise to me and one that I absolutely loved and sunk our teeth into when we made that video about it. So yeah, that's it. There you go. That's the not quick version.
Yeah, of course, it's canonity is confusing, and we know it was sort of an accident it made on the screen. It wasn't Terry related at all.
Oh, wasn't it?
No, just some guy on set.
Good guy on set. I like him.
Some guy on set. I don't know if they're good because they got in trouble.
No, it's something I would do. If I was working on set decoration, I'd even bring in my own shit and be like, nobody noticed.
It's a Starfleet ship, you know. But of all the things, you know, they've got stove ships, they've got all these, you know, they've got game print they could do. And it looks.
Could have put in a Galaxy X there instead.
Yeah.
Could have blended in a little bit better, I think.
And it's doubly funny because it's clearly on an Eagle Moss stand.
Yeah.
One that fits. Yeah, I mean, this is, you know, we talked obviously at the time, and an astounding thing for your brain, because, you know, it was never canon. That's what the point of screen. But it was always in your brain as being real. So to actually put those two together must be, you know, because I was going to say, if you told your young self you wouldn't believe yourself, but I think you would always thought it'd be canon at some day. So it's almost like it being vindicated versus surprised, because you've always sort of fought for it versus, yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Patrick. I'm not going to try to say the last name today. 11 euros.
Oh, thank you.
I think the number one of the captains is going to be the refit Enterprise at the museum, and the commander, I think, Voyager at the museum. Also, keep up the great work. Well, I'm going to say we've tried not to include ships here, so we'll do a top 10 favorite things at the museum video for sure at some point. But
and also such a bad Voyager model. It's actually sad to look
really
at.
Awful, yeah.
And it's funny.
It's really sad.
And it's funny because I'm literally building a genuine 4K hero asset with one of my many modelers, and the detail level we're going to is extreme. The accuracy is extreme. That one's trash. Because I've been staring at doing like an accurate one. Yeah. But I do love Voyager.
The idea of it being at the museum.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it looking so trash diminishes its. It
feels like very much like a game model ship.
Yeah, which is actually untrue in a sense, because the Stove models are better than they are game ships, and they're like the Sovereigns are game assets, and you can't tell. So crazy. My number 3 though, and that's ridiculous that we just said this, is a game model. Is Enterprise F, which was a game model. Enterprise F, Stuart. I mean, come on, it's the Enterprise. It can't not be in a top 10 references. Not just the Enterprise, the active Enterprise that for at least 10 years, this thing spearheaded the Federation for 10 or so years. That in itself is exactly. Not just that, but this was the Enterprise in the era between 2000 and let's say 10, whatever, Star Trek Online. This was the Enterprise for over a decade for the fandom, the current Enterprise. In a game, the only game that was producing content of any worth, really. So the fact that the team said, we're going to make it canon to stop it, but, we've pushed past those eras, but to make the unofficial, official Enterprise for the last 10 years really canon is an incredible gesture to the community. And the fact that Thomas then got to up-detail a game model, and you can't tell, it's amazing, it looks like it looks great. He made a canon Enterprise. That is incredible. He made, he updated them all, I think, twice in the last 10 years. That's his baby. And then to make it the real one. I mean, how many model makers are there of the Enterprise in CG? Well, the guy that made the ILM one, the person that made the Temp Enterprise E for the trailer, and the Final Nemesis one. Oh, and I guess, the three movie ones, but you don't think of the first one. But the 3 movie ones, and Gabe's Gabe then coaching Pierre for the Enterprise / Defiant. There's only so many, so to make an Enterprise, such a testament to fan respect. And Stowe is a hardcore yet niche product. So Terry would be entirely within his right to not even know what the ship is. But it's there. That's on them, and so good for them. Deserves to be a top tier reference.
Glad Stephen Eel, the designer of it, who won the design contest.
Adam Isle.
Adam, yeah. Yes, you're right. Yes. Sorry. My bad. Anyway, we've had him on the channel a few times, and I'm glad he got to have that on. It must be so exciting.
Yeah.
Wish we could have seen it more in action, but it is what it is.
Or action.
Well, it's a very nice beauty shot of it coming out and doing a nice kind of...
Very nice.
Like, it's pretty majestic, and it's with all the fireworks and stuff, that's kind of a special moment as well. So, yeah. I wish we would have seen more of it. Wish we could have got clarification as to what actually happened. I wish there would have been a line of dialogue saying it was destroyed in the battle. Something like that would squash a lot of questions people have about it. And it's kind of sad that it was like a 15-year run and then they kind of had to decommission it for whatever reason. But at least we saw it on screen. Brian Stewart throws in $2 with no comment, but thank you so much, Brian.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and also I'm really happy for Thomas Maroney for being
Deserves
able to,
it.
Oh, he absolutely does. He's a good friend of the channel as well. He loves what we do at Trekyards, and he's a good guy. So, it's good to see people like that. Have something like that happen to them. So,
yeah,
yes, very happy. All right, coming up on our silver. Our twos, guys.
The pressure's on.
And one guess from Patrick as to what our number ones might be. Anybody else wants to super chat in with their guesses? Now's the time.
Dustin, no idea. They didn't say or talk about it. Oh, Brian, you funny man.
My favorite part was the big T energy.
Trilobites. Hey, we've all got preferences. I mean, some people like the JJ prize most.
They do exist, those people, actually. We have one on our moderation team on Facebook, Doug. But that's the movie that got him into Star Trek. That's the first Star Trek thing he saw, so it's his first Enterprise. It's kind of like your first Doctor and Doctor Who. Yeah, always your favorite, right?
Because you've got nothing to compare to.
Yeah.
If you start at 3 and like it, then... And it's so odd to think that film got into Trek. I would think that film would turn you off from Trek.
Got him into Trek here.
Because you'd then watch real Trek and say, that's not what I want JJ Trek. Because it's so different.
He appreciates all the old stuff more, but that's still his favorite Enterprise. But it got him into Trek, which is awesome.
I just mean from the mindset of a random person, I wouldn't think watching the new Trek would let me want to watch the old Trek. You'd think it was not good in comparison because you're not looking for the stuff. Unless you're the guy who just didn't happen to watch old Trek, but you would enjoy it. Yeah. So they're just so tonally different. Action, they're not the same thing. I'm not judging, it's just like I can't... One is not the other.
I'm not judging, I'm just joking.
No, I do what I want. I'm trying to wrap my head around it, right? I can't.
No, I'm just joking.
Yeah. Is there a comparative example? I don't know.
People like Discovery and Strange New Worlds. I like Strange New Worlds. I like aspects of Discovery. The potential it had. But, yeah.
It still had until the moment it was cancelled.
Yeah.
Hey, at least Burnham got good. Good for her. Alright. What is your silver medal in top 10 references of the 80 or something I presented? And that was well timed. Were these top 2 instant, challenging, or what was these 2?
They were instant.
Okay.
I knew exactly before what I was going to say for these, and then slotted them in instantly.
Good to know.
And no, the Federation class wasn't even on my radar until I saw the picture of it. I'm like, oh yeah, what's going on there? I mean, we have to caveat this with some of the stuff we're going to forget, some of the things we might not have seen or thought of to put in the list. So there are the things that could have slid in here, but
and that's why I skimmed every single episode. That was a long to a while, but like I said, audio references, audio gags. I mean, I put a few in the chat in the notes. Like two of the ones I put in was in the second episode, whatever, where Riker says, "That way, Captain." What? No, odd habit. Like that's a lovely moment. It's a lovely reference.
Yeah.
But unless you remember it, you're not going to put it. But I was able to remember it and put it in the dialogue, put in the show notes.
And Patrick throws in another €6 and says, "Okay, second try for the captain. Roll, Aaron." You don't pay attention, do you? I absolutely despise Laren. Roll, Laren. Oh my god. And for the commander, spot the cat. I don't know. Always guessing. Okay.
Spot was my number 13. So you did get an on the list. So out of the 83, you did get top 13. And Roe is tricky because Roe was a thought process which went out in my second round of... Because I went through obviously not, maybe not, probably not, stick.
Yeah. She was in my top 18, but didn't make it.
Yeah, she was in my top 23. Because the difference between quality writing of the scenes and personal, that feels like a great reference. like Tuvok's scenes was far worse than Ro's scenes, but he means way more to me as a character.
Mhm.
So, yeah. And Dan says Anton Chekhov is number one. That again, my second tier. If Walt had been on set in full costume, that would have been a whole different ball game, right?
Mm-hmm. All right. My second Silver Place reference in Picard Season 3 is red herring. We got the USS New Jersey here. It's just the return of the TOS aesthetic to live action Trek. So it's not actually the New Jersey necessarily. It is the fact that the TOS Constitution class absolutely exists, nixing what happened in season 1 of Picard at Starfleet Academy, where you look up, see the Enterprise D, and then you see this Discovery Prize, not the Strange New Worlds Enterprise because it's different, but the Discovery Enterprise instead of an actual Enterprise. This returns to form, shows us true TOS within a new live action Trek, and that I really, really appreciate for multiple reasons. So, TOS, man.
What did I say about ships?
Not about the ships. My number 2 slot is TOS aesthetic, actual TOS design returning.
I sense a curveball of curving us, balling us proportions there.
Yeah.
I mean,
you would think that.
Because obviously, like, if I thought that way, I would have put in like a number 1 slot, right? Or of the ilk.
There's a lot of times where, I'll change my mind while we're doing a list because you bring up something and I'm like, oh yeah, I should have done that.
Oh, that's okay, Patrick.
Turnabout is fair.
You know, I will say though that if they had 3 times the budget, my goodness, there was a setup there with Jack takes the Enterprise refit, as in he expresses many interests in the refit throughout the show, and therefore the character that will be his, the equivalent of that character would take the Enterprise refit, and they'll or the Connie, I should say, and rebuild the Connie bridge, and then the Voyager bridge for 7. And we all kind of said that would be obvious in the final battle. They didn't do it because they had no time, but you could have rebuilt part of the Connie bridge, part of the Voyager bridge, just a bit, right? Just less money, just a chunk. And had imagine that, having 3 bridges in the final battle. I mean, especially if, like, the E, all you have to do is the captain's chair on the back wall, if you want to just have a, this shot, and then, like, the side table for a side shot. And it would feel like you're on the bridge. Like, it would feel right for relatively low cost. I mean, they could have had this insane closing. God, the NX as well. I mean, you could do all sorts of cool things. Crazy.
Well, Jimmy Touchdown throws in $5.
There you go.
Terry Metellus is a hack. The more you think about Picard Season 3's plot, the more it is Kurtzman-era nonsense. Killed off both Shelby and Ro for no reason. Dramatic emphasis.
And he did say Ro was going to come back. He didn't actually kill her.
Yeah.
But you make these things episode at a time. So he ran out of money by the end of the season. So he had to not do cameos he had planned and probably written. So there was going to be a scene where they got Ro out of the Intrepid's brig because she was beamed off at the last moment. Which makes sense. I mean, her shields would not be up. She'd be in transporter range. Better to take the person in prison that has all the information about how much they know. So and then Shelby, I get his logic. Is a symbol. She spent her entire life fighting the Borg. It makes sense they'd kill her. It's just that to come back to get killed after 1 minute is a bit meaningless, in that literal sense. Although it would also feel really disheartening thematically if you kill off 5 characters and they all come back in the same season. That would prove no stakes, and then rewatching them, they'd have no impact. Like, Ro's death means something because she died. So it's just a powerful scene. Shelby's it's a thing, but if you undid both, it would not mean so much. That's opposite to Q, where he still feels powerful death, but it's not really his death, etc. He's not a hack. He's just he had. It's like Shatner, right? Shatner had an insane limitation on Star Trek 5. and some bad decisions, but the limitations also mess up a lot of his stuff. It would be nice to see what they can each do with a full, proper budget.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Oh yeah, and Joe Smith too. I felt the NX should have been on show Frontier Day. 250th anniversary of it have been launched. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, it's the ship.
Tractor beam.
Because clearly, if that is the ship that if that's the ship of the day is about, it's right there. Like, half an hour away at warp, 10 minutes away at warp, it's right. Like, that is. But probably maybe they bring out every year. This year's about the F.
I gotta ask why the picture's so small in the frame. I just noticed that. Yeah, I don't know.
Because screen cap's randomorphic, and so it's.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. If I zoomed it, they would always be out of frame, so you got to kind of. Yeah.
I'll just do the hex grid part. Anyway. Jimmy Touchdown, $10. Killed Shaw 2. Why are Riker, Picard, and Geordi wearing the same outfit they wore on the Borg Cube 1 year later when they put the Enterprise D in the museum? Couldn't afford $100 for new outfits. That's a valid point, actually.
Because it was clearly edited the other way around.
Yeah.
They clearly moved it in the edit and it didn't work properly.
All right, that is my number 2. What is your number 2?
Do you have any guesses what number 2 is going to be?
Row.
Row boat. No, that's not it. 5, Stuart. Jesus, get it right. Well, Stuart, you cheated for your second. So I'm going to say that my number 2 is the Fleet Museum as a whole. Because I thought you were going to do it. I had to do it too. Just a bit. And this is a superb post that was released by CBS. A lot of love right here. Right here. No, it's a thing we would all do as Trek fans. You and me would do especially. A thing that they could have planned better, as in use the original models from the show and had these things, if they had more lead-in time or planned it early, they could have made this even better. More accurate models that look closer. That Connie, the only reason it looks okay is they just didn't convert the one from the show that looked better. Like, it looked better Enterprise. And Doug has a better one. And I have a better one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it could and should have looked better if they had more time or more money, I guess. But again, we all have models that are better that you could convert. That's entirely on them for making it not look so good. But thematically, it's amazing, even if all of the models I have better versions of, which is really sad. It's a Space Dock. I'm going to go Space Dock. But for what is ostensibly Space Dock with shoved in circles, it shockingly works well. Although you kind of got to wonder, how arbitrary is it? Why isn't there a third ring on the bottom tier? Why isn't there more sub-rings? And I know it feel too packed, but we never saw the inside of the top bit. We have no idea if there's ships in there. We have no idea if there's office complex. We don't know if there's a walking museum. Like, it's actually a place with more asked questions, right? Is this it? Is that the entire museum? These 16 ships to which we know, 9 of them. Is that it? All of Federation history summarized in these ships? Where's the Lost Era ships? Where's the... you know what I mean? It's an interesting place that they did a lot with, but could have done more. But to do it, is fun. And it lets me, as a fan filmmaker, say, hey! Do I want to go see an Enterprise refit? Yes! How do I do that? Oh, just go to the museum. It's that easy. It's that easy. So yeah, the whole museum gets my number 2. Just because it is a damn cool thing. And it certainly shows, they did not put much money into many places. But the places they did, they'd put a lot of money in. There's a lot of disproportionate spending this season.
Yeah.
But there you go. How'd you feel, Stuart? I did go there. I went there.
That's the perfect segue into my number 1. My number one is the Fleet Museum.
Ah!
But a much better picture of it.
Oh.
Yeah, just the fact that this exists. It's been referred to a few times by Deanna, since she remembers visiting. Scotty, they talk about the Constitution class in the Fleet Museum, which is really great. So to actually see it and now have it be a thing that exists in the universe of Trek, know what it looks like, and be able to, picture it in your mind. I'm sure it'll be used in like lower decks or something now because it is a thing that exists, and I would like to have seen more.
That's
of it.
true. Lower decks. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah.
I would like to see more of it, like the interiors. I wish we would have saw Geordi's office. We actually see his office more in the preview still than we do in the actual episode, which was really strange because there's some cool stuff in the background there. I want to see what the interior is like. We talked about this leading up to it, hoping we would see them walking by, displays or things like that. But there's so much potential there because it is older space dock. It's huge. It is huge inside, not just the hangar bays. Who knows what's inside those hangar bays? There could be like dozens more ships.
Well, because also he doesn't like that. I'm sure the thing originally had a crew of 4,000 or 5,000. Yeah. It doesn't now. So is what's that?
We talked about this having like a whole facility there, like an amusement park kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. Or the equivalent of the Smithsonian. Go and do a tour from early spaceflight, because obviously the things get bigger, so you can have a small room for the start, and then it gets bigger to a warehouse, and then it gets big, then outside, right? You can have an entire history, and I think you'd do that. It is the Starfleet Museum. You could argue just from Starfleet's creation, fine, but yeah.
See what they do is they made a point of saying that in the First Contact that the Phoenix is at the Smithsonian.
Yes.
So you start at the Smithsonian, go to the Phoenix display, see the actual Phoenix. Then they beam you to Bozeman, Montana, where you hop in the ride of the fake Phoenix. They launch you. You go right by the
ball cube. The Jupiter.
You go right by this Fleet Museum, and as you're going by, they beam you out of there and move you to the next step.
I love that.
I know, right? It's a whole thing.
And you could still be eating a popcorn or cotton candy from Bozeman straight into the
exactly. Yeah.
The quarks, because we've got to be quarks at Fleet Museum. You walk in, get your second snack, and you keep going. Love that. Love that. And actually, that shockingly makes a lot of sense that they would make those things genuinely warp capable, so that you could also take one to the museum, because it's obviously like 10 minutes away at high warp. Fuck, it's so an hour away at low warp, whatever. That's really fun, actually.
Yeah,
that's great. But I also imagine there'd be a wing. Maybe this could be something I could do of all the shuttles of all of Starfleet history, like a hangar of shuttles. How cool would that be?
I'm sure there is.
Yeah,
there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of material volume, not only hangar wise, but also just for like an actual museum where you walk through and see different displays of uniforms or weapons.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
There's tons of potential for this thing. So
because you can imagine
the fact that it exists now is just.
Because I'm sure you could visualize a big warehouse style room with each shuttle and a little standing plaque next to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's just a giant room, and there's like playing soothing music, or every section there's a Kirk log, there's a Picard log, there's a
the history of holodecks. You start out with a virtual reality headset. Like the next version of that, which is like what they had on the Equinox, and then you move to the next version of that, which is like the actual holodeck, and
then you go to the shockingly real Discovery one that comes out of nowhere. That's only a weapons training program. You're given a guns and shoot Klingons that look weird, and then you come back out and it's what was that? That was very confusing. Oh, see, this is the annoying thing, right? All these things I could do as a fan filmmaker, but they take money.
Yeah.
It's like these are not that hard to do. It's just I need $400, $500, $600, $800 to make these cool ideas. But I could. It'd be so much fun. Damn it.
Paul Deandra, $5 museum guide. Please do not touch anything. Me thinking to myself, need to press all the buttons.
Oh my god. I mean, of course, when you walk on the Enterprise D bridge at Vegas, like you could touch the buttons. You could exist Don't want to do that. But what do we do at the Connie Bridge? We were allowed to touch buttons. It is a nice feeling, and although I think I remember getting a little bit bored of doing the switches quicker than I thought, because once you start doing them and nothing happens, it's like, oh, click, 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 click. Although it was fun to do the Kirk switches.
And don't forget the comm panels where you hit the thing and all the red alert went off all over the ship, all over the actual set.
Yeah.
So, oh shit! Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's yeah.
Me no other says I can model this for free. Trekyards.
Model which?
Looks like Starfleet Museum.
Are you a 3D
Me no
modeler?
other.
Do I know you?
Shoot us an email at trekyards@hotmail.com to talk to Sam and.
Hello. Because we always need new 3D models. That's kind of the jam. Because I try and do impressive things, but they take time and effort.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my number one. It's your number two, so it was like kind of ironic. But it's just the whole as a whole. Like I'm sure we're going to do one on our top 10 favorite things we saw at the Starfleet Museum, which will be the ships and how they rank. Sure, but this as a whole with all the history here. This, as we did for that episode, just applause, man. They got it. They brought back our history with Star Trek. So that's my number one. My gold star.
I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. Which I thought was a bit of a cheat because.
Well, that's why I went number two. Because it needed to be there, right? The biggest reference of the show can't not be included. But, right?
Yeah.
All right. What's my number one?
What is your number one?
That is the question.
Let me see. Can I guess? Not the comm badge.
That would be ridiculous.
I'm gonna say the Enterprise D or the bridge.
It is the Enterprise D bridge. Because anybody...
Is it the right bridge, though? You got the right picture
Shush your
this
face. Because anybody who's got any experience could model the Enterprise D exterior. There are dozens of them online available. This is a thing. Ain't no LED wall, which they could have done, would look great. Ain't no green screen, could have done, would look nice. This ship was Terry saying, yeah, you know what we're going to do? We're going to spend $1 million of our budget on a bridge. And we're going to have it for only about 38 minutes of content.
But what if 38 minutes, man?
But I want a picture on the D bridge with the full TNG cast.
This was all a vanity project, wasn't it?
So who's directing those episodes? Me. Oh, okay. Well, who's writing it? Me. So you're saying you're going to design and write a TNG movie on the Enterprise D that you're going to fully control every way. You see why I left season 2? Yeah. Is my assumption. No, I mean, this is a testament to many, many things. And it's a hard bridge, right?
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing. I mean, some elements here are difficult. What are you going to say?
It's a hard thing, you said, and then you pause, and you can't think of any one of them.
Yes.
But then you started talking again, so you kind of ruined it for me.
Thank you. I'm glad. No, and it's beautiful because it's also shows this design has not aged. And you put...
I was going to say, this feels way more advanced than the Titan Bridge. I said that a few times.
Yeah, the future...
Simplistic nature.
The future is not shiny, reflective metal and dark surfaces. It's bright, pleasant, happy, comfortable work environment that you can spend years on. If I spend years on the Titan, I'd be like, this is a job. This is work. This is obviously work, but it's your ship. I don't know how many people are going to walk away from season 3 of Picard and say, wow, Titan is my ship. I want to serve on the Titan. They'll be like, it's Titan. This... I mean, the E as well. I don't think many people will serve the E's interiors. They're okay. Like, they're not comfortable, but at least they're nice, just they're not, But this is like an actual work, like future forward thinking, right?
Yeah, it's to be a place you're absolutely right. It's bright, it's welcoming. It doesn't feel like a dungeon, which looking back on a lot of the Titan interiors kind of feels that way. You're absolutely right. I just think simplicity wise, this is just the summation of like advancement. I think Andrew Probert did a fantastic job designing this, and the fact that it does still hold up is amazing, and it feels better than anything of the new Trek. So
I remember email trekyards@hotmail.com. Me no other. Trekyards@hotmail.com.
Me no other. Trekyards at hotmail.com.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's a testament to time and quality. I'd love to know how much it cost. I'd love to know how much the budget. Is it 10% of the budget? 20%? I'd love to know. Because it isn't, like the shapes of these things take time to do. And it's not Titan. They could, like, I know that Dave Blass said that all the Titan details are just honeycomb material they found. This, they had to either manufacture or find exact replica of the carpet, which meant paying the cost it costs. They, like you can't just that fabric's $6. It has to be recreated, right? And I'm sure Gene, like you can tell why there's so many sets built for season 1 because he wrote in the pilot a big walk around the ship just so they were built because then you could use them for other episodes. Engineering is so giant, like that's a great set.
I was gonna say, how they had problems finding the carpet because the people that manufactured the carpet went out of business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, betcha that's why they said on the Titan, no carpets. We need to recreate this in 20 years. We'll make sure that a shiny surface is going to be replicatable. That's why they're so opposed to the carpets.
Damn, that carpet looks nice. But no, recreating an exact replica is far harder because obviously then we'll all be judging. There's a standard to go by. And this was clearly, at the time, a very expensive piece of set to build. 1980s, but it was going to be our daily driver. And they didn't, it's not as if they rebuilt it, remastered it, particularly over the 7 years. They repainted and added new lines to the back. They changed some chairs. But it was shockingly the same because it held up. Like it was a good design from the get-go, etc. Same with Voyager. I mean, we're lucky with our bridges. We designed them well. But no, it's just a testament, and it makes me sad that these new pictures exist, that you can't go there. It makes me very, very sad. And I hope James Cauley speeds up, builds his, because people, deserve to be on this bridge. They deserve to see and live this. And of course, the 80s is 40 years ago. If you were a 50-year-old, a 40-year-old, a 30-year-old in watching this on TV, you're now in your 70s, 80s, 90s. Wouldn't they love to see this? We aren't be mobile enough. So build it and let people experience a mecha-like experience. I mean, how many times have we heard stories of people crying when they go onto one of the TOS bridges? It's life-changing, honestly. And it was to walk that corridor in Ticonderoga was life-changing. It's an experience that it is. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, epic. Don't know what else to say.
I know. I
was just looking at going back to the museum picture, and I was zooming in. The resolution's pretty good. You zoom in on Voyager, that looks like a better Voyager model than the one they actually showed in the show. It's got the better colors. It's not as dark.
Well, yeah. My assumption is they just found renders. I mean, that looks like Rob Bonshoon's render. I mean, these could just be Eagle Moss top renders. I mean, they probably are, right? Why wouldn't they be? Yeah. I love how
good to just be able to zoom in and look at things.
Well, it's great how the Excelsior and the Voyager are next to each other, and it's like that is not the same size remotely.
Well, don't talk about scale, man. Nobody will notice.
Well, people notice. Just what can we do? It would be interesting. I do think though doing rings of different sizes would look worse. you have to carefully
to,
order them. Like you couldn't. You have to.
yeah.
You'd have to place them
But
very
these
carefully.
are different sizes, though. If you look at the Nebula one and they look at the Saratoga.
Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah, these are. Yeah, this one is not what's in the show, but even so,
I want to see the Enterprise D in its slot here on this thing because it overhangs the ring.
Yes, there's one slot free. I wonder what's there. I wonder what's going to end up there, Stuart.
Thought maybe the Enterprise F, and then
yeah. Which is fairness, it would also go here, you'd think. So they should have done that, Stuart. In the final shot, have two buoys, two sets free, and have the F next to the D. That's actually really disrespectful to the F, unless it got trashed and had to be repaired in section 12, which also makes sense. Oh,
I do have two Akuras, yeah, but I think the other one was put into it's an honor thing. Just seems weird to have two Akuras. Like you already see the ship design. You don't need to have two of them.
Oh, they're more famous than the Galaxy. Two different famous Akuras.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. It's just funny by itself. All right, now you asked at the start, and we have not changed it the entire live. Which show or season had the best references, callbacks, or cameos? 58% Picard, 37% Lower Decks, 2% Prodigy, despite the TOS sequences. Jesus, and 3% Discovery. Got more than Prodigy, despite Prodigy literally having Janeway and Chakotay, and wow, that's.
And TOS, that's an odd choice.
And the Sovereign,
nobody watches
the
Prodigy,
Defiant.
Yeah, nobody watches Prodigy apparently.
Wow,
which is really sad.
That's really sad. Voyager A, San Francisco. Jesus. Anyway, Stuart, what do people need to do at the very last moment?
Consider super chatting for the last super chat slot, guys, and hit that like button. Let's try to get to 150 likes. But yes, you want to have your last word? You want to be the final super chat of the day? Let us know, because right now it is Paul with the museum guide comments. Pressing the buttons. So, you guys want to slip in there with anything? Words, profound words, funny words, whatever. Now's your chance.
And there's our fleet video once again. Join the fleet, really love it.
Yes. Yes. It's a beautiful fleet. We love this. Wait till you get to the Titan A and the little gag with that one. We really think that's funny. And these are changing all the time, so we're getting new members. If you want to be one of those new members, hit that join button and take an opportunity to look at the ranks, the perks, and join us on the Discord just to hang out and have fun and get your name on one of these ships. Get assigned to a ship or get your own ship. Be a captain or an admiral. Admirals get hero ships. Captains just get a ship. So look at those options as well. And you too could be captain of a starbase ship, whatever. There's lots of fun stuff coming. Plus we have fleet events, like we said, where you can work with your crewmates to solve problems, puzzles. And, it ties into the fleet videos. There's a lot of cool stuff going on with it. So it's really fun.
And a fun time had by all.
Yeah. It's a fun way to engage with the channel and the other members. So we hope you guys are enjoying it.
Pretty much.
Anyone that is a member, speak up now. Let us know how cool and fun it has been.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts, though, Stuart, on the...
Such a long video.
It's very, very long. Any closing thoughts, Stuart, on the season's worth of references? Apart from well done, I guess.
It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, that's it. Terry and team, they know what... They're fans like us. They get it, and they put it on screen. For everyone that couldn't have their voice heard, they put it out there for us to just relish in it and just enjoy it. So... Thank you.
And again, this thumbnail, it's the fact that they did include the lunar class, and then made a gold version, which is a double reference. The fact they made a retro TOS phaser as like a stealth communicator. Sorry. Again, that's unnecessary. She barely uses it, but I fucking love it. What a lovely nod to TOS while still being new and relevant, and that could be in cosplayers across the world, right? Like the stealth. I think they call it, like I say, a stealth communicator, like a a strategic one. Garrett. I mean, so many things. I mean, like I said, I went through the episodes and found lots of things. So it's and it's probably going to make Stranger Worlds feel somewhat vapid. Like,
Maybe.
where's the universe? Like they do some good stuff, like some small good stuff, but like I'll see the Gordons be pissed. It's like correct Borg, correct Cube, fucking Gorn. Like just it's gonna be come after this. That's gonna be extremely depressing, and it was already extremely depressing. Just saying.
Dan Ben says, I don't like children's sci-fi when they have to fight villains who are also children. They didn't fight any children villains in Prodigy, my dear.
Well, you can't mean Prodigy. That didn't happen. I mean, that's a real kids show. I feel like most kids shows do actually have adult villains because you can't just. Otherwise, it's child abuse if you're fighting children. I feel like. It's not 10-year-olds like stabbing.
Kids fighting kids.
But I mean, like if while you're punching kids. I mean, are kids really gonna punch children, stab children? I mean, it's dramatic, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Ray Rivera, $5.
Thank you.
Vote for Picard. Pick Discovery instead. Stupid iPad. Okay, so
you were the problem.
Discovery and Prodigy would probably both be at 2%. But
do you feel better now,
Patrick.
Stuart? Do you feel better?
Oh shit. Yes. But Patrick upgraded his membership to captain, which means we need to add a new ship.
Oh no! Yes.
And Jean-Luc Picard, member for 1 month, the rank of captain. So did you all mention the Nemesis phaser?
Not this time. It was on my sort of list, but don't know, just wasn't. Would have probably been my top 25.
I don't think it would have made mine. That might have. That's tough.
Because it's funny when it literally is just a phaser from Nemesis. Like the reference factor doesn't quite feel like in that case. It's like just grabbed it off the shelf almost.
Yeah.
Although I do wish they'd had that moment, which is semi had when they were like fighting changelings on the Shrike, and we knew that everyone was using Nemesis phasers. It'd be great if you had a scene where like the three main TNG cast there are all phaser fighting, and it's like this really nice classic vibe. And then maybe Reich could say, "Wow, I missed the old style. So it's easy to shoot because it does its work." And then you do your reference where he shoots in the ceiling and it goes down, and it like auto aims because they auto aimed in TNG. And yet, and yet, Raffi walk on the bridge. Pew 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 pew. Why am I missing? Pew 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 pew. And in TNG, got him, got him, got him. Unless you're season 1 conspiracy where they shoot the hallway and they dodge it.
Yeah. Well, Skeleton Strange New Worlds #1 fan throws in $20.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's a
Chat.
name.
Thank you so much.
Is that as much as you could fit in? Because I've never seen a name that big, I think.
Question. Does Trekyards think there's a double standard when fans judge Picard versus other new Trek? Example, bashing Strange New Worlds for making young Gorn very alien-like, while accepting Enterprise D exploding from a cube like Star Wars.
Good question.
I mean, yes, you're always going to get that double standard stuff with any kind of fandom, but at the same time, there was so much care and legacy taken with cameos, references, aside from the action adventure beats, that I think it gets a bit of a pass for things like that. Yeah, the Enterprise D shouldn't be able to do that. That's fine. But redesigning the Gorn, like they didn't redesign the Borg. The Borg drones we saw looked like Borg drones. The Queen, yes, but that's a whole separate thing. So I don't know. I think there was enough legacy and love put into the rest of Picard that made up for the first 2 seasons that they can get away with 1 or 2 things like that. Whereas Strange New Worlds, they're reimagining everything, like visually, and they don't need to, especially with the Gorn. But that's my take on it.
And that's an interesting example there because Enterprise D exploding away from a cube. Data was piloting a super intelligent, super fast, super capable android that was able to read out a 37 letter code to a computer and lock it, who was able to create an encryption that could stop the Borg Queen from accessing it for days, an android that was able to jump across the void of space and hit the scimitar and get inside. He's done insanely high-level things, right? Like top-tier, godlike, he just did it. So if he pilots the Enterprise D and Joy's been repairing for 20 years, he's probably going to give it really nice thrusters and impulse engines that I could see him improving. Like, if it was anybody else in the cast, that wouldn't make sense. It being Data, with nothing to lose except everything, I mean, with nothing to lose, right? That specifically, that is silly, but there's a line of rationale. The Gorn is weird because, of course, there's no reason to connect the design of we've seen concept art. The adult version of that Gorn just looked like bigger feral creatures, but we know what Gorn looked like in several iterations, and they're not very similar. And then, Lower Decks, there's a Gorn wedding. And you tell me that on the Gorn wedding night, they have intercourse, and then a few days later, they impregnate humans, and they destroy from their chest, and then those kids grow up to do a nice, gentle wedding. Like, that's also canon, right? That came before. So, we respected them enough. You're saying, like I said, the guy that came out, the guy that sold shawarma at the starbase, so you're saying he broke free as part of a litter that ate each other from the body of a random alien they grabbed and done a breeding planet. Like, there's no reason to say they didn't do it, but it's such a leap. It's so disconnected that it just feels alien. Literally. That was a triple pun. But the Gorn were never that. So it's just, it's like the extreme. Going to the absolute extreme of something and saying, it makes sense. Like, well, it could, but it's the absolute extreme. And it's also just, alien. Which feels uncreative, right? It's just alien. Like,
yeah. Even some of the visuals are very alien. Like, it's not just reformatting the culture and the species. It's also just the way they did it, like film-wise. I don't know. Just dumb. That's all I have to say. There is a double standard when they glitch things. Yes, I absolutely agree with that.
It's just when you go from one extreme to the other. There's a rationale behind one. It's silly, but there's a rationale. There's no rationale between Stranger Worlds except they want to do their own thing and call them Gorn. Like, if you went to the production department, they would say, we didn't take the original Gorn inspiration, we did our own thing, it had to be cool, dramatic, our new villain. That's what they said. Picard, they said, well, we need to have the D-lever cube that's exploding. That's all they said, right? Like, one is intentionally changing it for the sake of it, one is put ourselves in a slight corner of how do we get out of a cube in a minute. Okay, we'll zip.
Yeah,
it's intention as well, right? So it's not double standards. Now, if Picard had redesigned something giantly, we would be saying, "Damn you, why have you done that?" But they didn't, so it's not double standards so much as logical evolution or rationale.
Yeah. The Picard went out of their way to not redesign anything. It was not a Strange New Worlds Enterprise at the museum. It was TOS Constitution class. That was returning us to form.
It's like it's not double standards when Discovery shows real-time holograms from the edge of space to Vulcan, real-time, sitting on desks, and then 10 years later on TOS they take 3 weeks to get a message out to the nearest buoy. That's not double standards. That's one is clearly wrong and one is clearly canon. They're both canon, but like one is clearly weird. So Strange Worlds takes that inspiration and continues. And it's fine by itself. Like, it will be... I'm hoping that they're smart enough to know we have to show the Gorn as full armor, practical makeup. Like if we're going to show them be radically so different, they're not even Gorn anymore. They're just green creatures. Because you would not call them Gorn if they were purple, right? That's the only thing that makes them Gorn. Like, they don't sound the same, whatever. If you need to show in season 2 or 3 or 4, whichever, a Gorn in full like uniform with a head, animatronic, like an officer Gorn who's an adult to show, they're barbaric when they're young. But currently it's presenting them as they're all just this. So that, if that's a payoff, fine. But given that they can't meet Gorn because Gorn don't appear in TOS, it's kind of putting themselves in another giant corner. Yeah. It's weird. Good question.
What else? What else is weird?
Mm.
See what one super chat can do, guys.
Mm.
You know what else is weird? Look at this fleet video, this museum video or picture again.
Yes.
Why is the Klingon bird of prey that's a Burrell class that has 12 officers bigger than a Katinga?
Because you wouldn't see it otherwise, except you would, because it's not that small. I know.
It would be smaller than this. It's like the wingspan's probably the size of the saucer of the
I know.
A.
That's the most egregious one to me, because it is not even slightly that size. And it's also, the wings are also down in the CG shots inside like the episode, but that's that's not.
Okay, I'll just stop looking at this picture because the more I look at it, the more it's kind of annoying me. Anyway, all right.
Yeah, that one.
Boom.
That one's the problem. See, not double standards.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching.
Yes.
Everybody that super chatted, we really appreciate you guys. Hit the like if you haven't. There's 2 more likes to get to 150, but if you're watching this after the fact, drop a super thanks or just hit like. And we appreciate you guys watching and listening. And we will be back tomorrow with another one.
Yes.
And then Wednesday as well. We got some more top 10s we want to do for this season wrap up.
Tomorrow is our gentle bitch fest, and Wednesday is our gentle love letter. Because we're gonna be fair on both. That's why I'm doing back to back. Tomorrow, worst of. Wednesday, best of. I'm not gonna like Stuart. You find reference because I don't want to even be like, don't even give you options. Like that's your brain.
Damn.
Like think, because I'll be very interested to see what on earth we'll say. Yeah.
All right. Sounds like a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So until then, he is Commander Cocky.
He's got a Foley.
See you guys later.
Bye, guys.